Nhung Kiều. Nhung Kiều. You ask
Yes.
for a record. Why?
Yeah, what? Can you ask me again?
Why you ask about the record, the lesson?
Yes, yes. Because when you say hello, you didn't record it, so I
Yes.
asked you to record it.
Thank
And now I
you.
can see that you are recording.
Yes, thank
So
you. Thank you.
yes, so thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. Next time, if I forget to record, appreciate your remind.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, Mr.
Yes.
Lee. We are group three. We come from the transportation class, so we got in the class late a little bit. So I'm here.
Yes. Okay. Okay. We know that you from three.
Yes.
Let's see. Okay. Your group did work. This three. Okay. So I summarize. You can present. Uh, Success factor. We talk about success because when we talk about something, we tend to have something. Okay. That's why we talk about success. We talk about success in order to
be successful.
yes. Correct. Okay. Remember, talk about positive. Okay. For sure. Something else, but mainly success. Okay. Even in your dream. Okay. So it's much better. Okay. Agree?
Totally agree.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So that is one of the positive attitudes. Okay. I plan to say that. For example, you tell your like young brother, you do something, it will be success. You go for that. Better than you say, oh, if you do something else, it will be worse. Okay. Okay. So this is the way we share the story and look for also to share today. Okay. Let's see. You can see proper planning. See? Planning, and detailed schedule. Okay. Methodic approach. Yes. Think. Yes. For sure. Everything. People. Okay. That's why we need to study, to improve yourself, to invest in yourself for education. Okay. Yeah. And what else? Okay, communication. Yes. I told you, project manager take 80% of their time for communication. Okay. Risk management. Yes. For sure. Okay. For sure. Risk is everywhere, and we need to identify, respond to the risk. Okay. That's why we have one chapter of risk management, and we talk about it every time. Okay. Bottom line, the budget. Do we have enough? Okay. Money to invest inside. For the question 2, repeatable. Okay. Some people miss up. Now it's so clear. System analysis. Okay. Concept. Implementation plan. Okay. And tangible result. Oh, very good. again the face, you can follow such people just joining here. Maybe they attend another class and now they join here. And this is a very good chapter. Okay. Justifications for the business to analyze in terms of finance, advance, disadvance, you decrease scope, and here. Oh, you see, let's see. Okay. Okay. Increase productivity. That is the output, the results. Okay. People keep joining slowly, huh? Okay. So what else? What else in the deliverable? Okay. Very good. Here is that practice. These are things more effective. Yes, that is the output. Okay. Improve quality in production. Okay. Yeah, quality. Less defect. Okay. But in the chapter, you just say that. Okay. Now, what is the defective rate? How many percent? You improve how much? Okay. And for sure the score. Okay. Maybe you need some rewarding. So with that, I would to hand over to our speaker today for their forum. Okay. So Thiên Quang, hello, Võ Đình Tuấn, Thiên Quang. Okay, with that, I just review your homework. Thank you very much. Group 3, you did great work. And now group 4. You ready?
Yes, we're ready.
Quang Minh? Yeah, very good. Ready? So, let's start. Say your name. Turn on your camera, video. Okay. So I very busy with review and assess your performance. Student in the class, please ask, comment. We appreciate your feedback. Involves, got involved. Thank you very much. Let's start. Minh.
Okay, can you hear me well, sir?
Yeah. Very
Yes.
clear.
Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, good morning, everyone. We are Gupra, and today is our honor to present chapter 3, which mentioned about project scope and work breakdown structure. So look at the screen. You can see that we have just shown you an agenda. It will include all the parts of today's lesson, and it will following times and presenter. So I think you should following this agenda. In case of you will miss any parts of the lesson, then you can still continue with the next part. At the end of the agenda, there is a QR code, and please scan it. It will lead you into a link of Drive. The first file, there will be 3 files in the Drive. The first file is a reference book. The second one is scorecard of the mini game at the end of the lesson. And the last file is today's lesson note. This note will summary all the knowledge for you. So I think now we can start the lesson. Please scan the QR code first. Yeah, so now we will start. Before I start a lesson today, I will summary a little bit about the previous class. Last week, the last group show you the very general explanation and information about each aspect of project management, like stakeholder, procurement, risk, human resources, quality, integration, scope, time, and cost. So, and today our group will focus on the scope, on discussing scope. Next slide, please. Yeah, today our lesson objective, there are two objectives. There is scope and work breakdown structure. Our presentation will divide into four main parts. The first part is introduction and collect requirements. The second one is define scope. The third one is create work breakdown structure. And the last one will be an extra part. That is verify, control scope, and tools. So now, please, Khanh and Ngọc will present the first part, please.
Hi everyone, my name is Khan, and so don't waste all of your time. Let's go try to the first part, how to define the scope of the project. So first we need to understand the definition of it. Project scope management would include all the processes that the work require and only the work required to complete the project. I have to emphasize that only the work required. Then you need to make sure that your project is running within your scope deliverables, nothing more or less either. Because when you're adding more towards the end project, it can be very costly and time consuming. Therefore, it's required both defining and controlling what is it and is not included in the project. So let me give you an easier example to understand. So like you're gonna hold a campaign for skincare marketing for students. So you have to seek for all the brand sponsorship, right? So you have to list all the brand that's suitable for your delivery content and also target customer is student. So maybe industry access because it has the affordable price product and also suitable for student. And you cannot receive brand like Shiseido or Estee Lauder because it's for the customer aging about 30 years old. So really it's very important to you to define and control what is it and not included in the project. And as you can see in the figure in the slide, the project scope management may be formal or informal. It may be very detailed or just broadly overview. It also depends on the need of the project, but it still have full 5 steps in the figure you can see. First, collect requirement, then define scope, and create the WBS, and then verify and control scope. Our work today will run into all the 5 steps for you. So next slide. I will next slide, please. So in the slide, you see the example for the one project scope management for your easier in imaging that your project is your study in IU, right? So it maybe contain all the planning, finance, living, and all the costs you take. And especially at the end, you have to finish your thesis. So it maybe contain those in component. And I have the easier example for all of you, right? Like our check, I said our check is to create the IU job fair 2021. So I have listed all the scope and all the component that's relate to my project, like organization that in the job fair like Lazada, Unilever, the publicity and promotion, the funding, the banner, the advertisement you will propose for before the IU job fair, right? Or maybe the facility, maybe we hold it online or offline, or rent facility for the event. It is a setup room or it's just an open area. So you have to define all the scope that before you running to the project management, right? So I think that you all need to take notice for this example because later my friend will explain this carefully and show you. Based on this, we will create the WBS lies in the Excel. So it will be explained and so you have the way to write WBS later on. So next slide, please. So after you know the basic that the scope management is, we have to take notice about two terms when defining a scope. That is product scope and project scope. I also put those two vital terms in the table with comparisons for your easier understanding. So basically, the project scope is product scope is all about the product details, what the product will look like, how it will work, how its feature. Like example, if the product is a cell phone, so the product may be the screen size, the battery, the camera type, and the project scope is on the larger scale and also includes the product scope. You must understand the product scope to define the project scope because there are two most important concepts in project management. So, like if the project is controlled around the trains of the rich, and on the other hand, your project scope will provide insight how to build the bridge. It gives you all the required information, and in this case, the project scope define what exactly you need to construct the bridge. So next slide, please. The scope baseline for the project will include three components: the project scope management statement, WBS, and WBS dictionary. After you define it, the baseline scope is then monitored, verified, and controlled through a life cycle of the project. In short, I will explain each component a little bit. Project scope statement comprises of four components like scope description, deliverable, acceptance criteria, and project inclusion. While WBS define all the things you need to in the project to accomplish, and it will be displayed graphically. So notice here the WBS is the most important part of project scope management and even to the end of the project. So I just hint for you guys a little bit right here because later on my friends will describe it very carefully and so you have to read it. So WBS can take many forms and can use for many purposes. And like in the figure you can see in the slide, WBS can be found in the Excel or you can use some online websites to create the form. So after you know clearly and define all the scope needed, it's time to collect requirements for the stakeholder. So next slide, please. We're gonna move to the next part, collect requirement. So why we need to collect requirement? Basically, collect requirement is to clarify and manage customer expectation on project outcome. In fact, collect requirement help us to define project scope during scope management. So you have, when you collect requirement, you have to define two components of the requirement: the quantify and document needs, and the expectation of sponsors, customer or other stakeholder, because it will provide the basic of defining and managing project scope. So next slide, please. So why the requirement is so important, right? Because and how we collect it. I would like to invite Kim Ngọc for the next presentation to look more closely on the type of requirement and how we collect requirements based on some set of tools.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Kim Ngọc, and I will present the collect requirements part. Like Ken mentioned, the collect requirement is a process that determines as well what documents and manage the need and requirements of stakeholder to meet the objectives of the project requirement stack. And requirement can be classified into various types like business requirements, stakeholder requirement, solution requirement, transition project requirement, and finally the quality requirement. And the collect requirement step provides a baseline for the project's budget, schedule, and quality specification, risk relent, and gives a review on what needs to be finished. And we have another term. Can you move to next slide? The product's requirement, which is about information on technical requirements, security requirement, performance, and many organizations categorize requirement into project requirement and product requirement. And the requirement is important for its foundation of the work-based structure and the base for the cost, schedule, and quality planning. And but in and we have three parts of the collect requirement step part. The first part would be inputs. In the first part of the collect requirement process, we have the input. It includes, can you move to the next slide? The project charter, and this contains the high level of description of the product, service, or research to be developed to develop the detailed requirement of the project. Therefore, it determines the scope of the project. And secondly, the stakeholder register. It is about identifying the key stakeholders of a project, and as they provide information on the requirement of a project. This identification project is made simpler with the use of stakeholder register. The register helps in capturing the significant needs and primary expectation of the stakeholder that relate to the project. And in order to collect requirements from project stakeholders, several tools and techniques are used. We have the first tool, which is interviews. An interviews is a formal or informal approach to discover information from stakeholders by talking to them directly. The critical feature of this process is that it helps the project manager to interview experienced project participants, sponsors, stakeholders, and it is considered best for confidential and detailed information. And we often have the one-on-one interview. We can have the multiple interviewer or multiple interviewees. Interviewing experienced and project participants, stakeholder can aid in identifying and defining the features and function of their project deliverables. And the second tools we will have the focus group. A focus group bring together qualified stakeholder and subject matter expert to learn about the expectation and attitudes about a proposed product, service, or a results. For instance, first, the project managers can organize a meeting with the director of the company to get their requirement, and then they can arrange a separate meeting with the functional managers to understand their requirement. And focus group often seems to be more conversational than individual interviews. Moving on to the third techniques, we have the facility workshops. Based on the slides, it had a lot of theory, so I think it will be more easier for you to understand by reading, and I will give some example for more detail. In facilitate workshop, stakeholders with different perspectives are brought together. Let's consider that you will manage a software project. You can bring analysis software developer, test engineer, operation team, and customer together. Each group of the project stakeholder will look to the project from their perspective and express their requirement. For instance, the operation team will consider operational aspect, and the customer will express their business requirement, and the software developers will state their technical requirement. And the fourth group, which is group creativity technique, we have five main types in this group. The first one, brainstorming. It is used to generate and collect multiple ideas, and it is often used in conjunction with other techniques. And the second group are nominal group techniques. It is used for ranking ideas for further brainstorming through voting. And idea and mind mapping is about idea generated in individual brainstorming sessions. This allows for common understanding of ideas and help in generating new ideas. And the affinity diagram allows large numbers of ideas to be sorted into groups for review and analysis. And next we have the group discussion making techniques. Group discussion making techniques are discussion making in a group for future action. The decision can be reached through first amenity, majority, plurality, and dictatorship. The technique can be applied to group creativity techniques. And moving on to next, we have the questionnaires and surveys. Questionnaires, this technique is best used when there are more stakeholders involved in a project. For example, if there are 200 stakeholders associated with the project, collecting information from each individual to assess their requirement will consume a lot of time. Hence, the project manager is requested to prepare a questionnaire and conduct surveys to collect their requirement list. And in observation of potential user of the product is watched to identify requirements. For instance, in order to determine the group, in order to determine the user experience or the most used features of an e-commerce shopping website, a consumer can be observed. Based on the step that the consumer will take, the project requirement can be identified or prioritized. And the last techniques of the collect requirements part is prototypes. It involves the process of creating a model of the actual product. The team will build this model of the product and pass it on to the stakeholders for collecting their feedback. As the model is a tangible product, the stakeholder can track it thoroughly and request for changes. And in the output state of collect requirement, we have the three parts. The first is requirement documentation. This is a technique that describes how individual requirements meet the business need for the project. It can be a simple document listing on the requirement by the stakeholder and to more elaborate form containing a detailed summary description and attachment. And component of requirement includes business requirement, stakeholder requirement, solution requirement, project and transition requirement, etc. And the second of the output would be the requirement management plan. A requirement management plan is a document that is typically created alongside the primary project plan as a piece of the scope as the scope management process. Its primary purpose is to ensure that all stakeholder and business requirements are captured, analyzed, managed, and addressed by the project plan. And in the third component of the output, we have the requirement traceability matrix. It is a document that links requirements throughout the validation process. The purpose of this is to ensure that all requirements defined for a system add business value by connecting it to the business and project objective. It's a process that provides a way to track requirements throughout the project lifecycle. Therefore, ensure that requirements are grouped in the requirement documentation and they are delivered at the end of the project. Finally, it provides a structure for managing change to the product. And this is the end of my part. So next, I would like to invite Lam to present the DeFi scope.
So good morning, everyone. My name is Phương Lam. I'm gonna talk about the DeFi scope. So what is it? It's the process of developing a detailed description of the project and product. At this step, we need to turn the requirements that we talk about previously into a well-detailed description of the service or product that we are trying to deliver through the project. And we will then have a project scope statement that we can then refer to throughout the project. The preparation of detailed project scope statement is critical to project success and builds upon the major deliverables, assumptions, and constraints that are documented during project initiation. Why is it important to list what is in the scope of the project? It is just important to knock down what is out of the project scope. Any kind of inclusion to the scope would then have to go through the entire change control process to ensure that the team is only working on the things that they are supposed to work on. When there is poor scope definition, final project costs can be expected to be higher because of the inevitable changes which disrupt project rhythm, cause the rework, increase project time, and lower the productivity and morale of the workforce. The table shows the input, tool, and techniques and outputs of the defined scope process, which will be mentioned in the next few slides. So this is the defined scope data flow diagram displayed on the screen. The input and output of defining scope are summarized and will be discussed further right now. So these shown on the screen are the input of defined scope process. First, project starter provides the high-level project description and product characteristics, such as documents, the business needs, current understanding of customer needs, and the new product, service, or result that is intended to satisfy. It also contains project approval requirements. If a project charter is not used in the performing organization, then comparable information needs to be acquired or developed and used as a basis for the detailed project scope statement. Second, requirement documentation describes how individual requirements meet the business need for the project. And third, organizational process assets. Some of the examples of organizational process assets that can influence the defined scope process include, but are not limited to, policies, procedures, and templates for project scope statement, such as guidelines and criteria, organizational standards like human resources, health, safety, security, quality, audit, and environmental policies, and so forth. Projects filed from previous projects. The sample are business analysis, performance record, project closure information, results, decision, risks, or any other significant information recorded about the project done in the past. And finally, lesson learned from previous phases or projects. So now we're going to move to tool and techniques.
Okay, thank you, Lam. I will continue with the rest of the defined scope process. For the tools and techniques, first we have expert judgment. It is often used to analyze the information needed to develop the project scope statement by completing, validating, interpreting, and combining existing data, assessing the impact of a change, predicting the future events and consequences of a decision. The judgment is applied to any technical detail and is provided by any group or individual with specialized knowledge or training, including project team members, consultants, stakeholders, subject matter experts, project manager, and so on. To obtain the expert judgment, first we will select and confirm the activity to be analyzed and create a list of statements or questions. Next, we'll select the experts and ask them to give their ratings or answers. And we'll make a report and we send it out to everyone. And we will have the experts revise the answers. And finally, we will make a second report based on the reviews. For example, assuming we're running a fertilizer company, the fertilizer usage data on areas is provided to 3 or 4 experts. 2 experts are selected for each area. The experts are asked to make ranges of estimates for the following season or year, and a final estimate by general agreement is reached at a meeting. Second, we have product analysis. This can be a useful tool for projects where the deliverable is a product rather than a service or result. It translates high-level product descriptions into tangible deliverables. The techniques include product breakdown, systems analysis, requirements analysis, systems engineering, value engineering, and value analysis. For example, a simple product analysis on a t-shirt. First, we look at various factors of this t-shirt to analyze the quality. We can ask something like, what's the material of the t-shirt, the quality, and what happens after it is washed? What colors are on the t-shirt with a color split, and is the ink of high quality if it is printed on? Where is the t-shirt manufactured, and is it easy to manufacture there? And what are the capabilities of manufacturer for future orders? What's the minimum order quantity, and is the manufacturer certified for proper compliance? And those are questions we focus on to do analysis on t-shirt products. Next slide. The third is alternatives identification. We use this technique to discover different methods to accomplish the work of the project. A variety of techniques can be used, such as brainstorming, lateral thinking, and pairwise comparisons. For example, brainstorming might be used to discover alternative ways of achieving a project objective. If there's a part of the project that needs to be included, but the budget doesn't allow, brainstorming might uncover an alternative that would solve the problem. And lateral thinking can be understood as thinking outside the box. It's a process of separating the deliverables and requirements of project scope. We look at them from different angles and encourage the team members to come up with ways to solve the problems. And finally, facilitated workshops. We mentioned about this earlier, so let's skip to the outputs. For the, it describes the project deliverables in detail, as well as the work required to create those deliverables. The project scope statement also ensures that all project stakeholders have a common understanding of the project scope. It may include exclusions to help manage expectations. It allows the project team to perform more detailed planning, guides the project team's work during execution, and serves as the baseline for determining whether requests for changes or additional work fall within or outside the project's boundaries. You can know how well the project management team controls the overall project scope by looking at the degree of detail of the project scope statement, which includes the product scope description. It contains the characteristics of the product, service, or result. Product acceptance criteria defines the process and criteria for accepting completed products, services, or results. Project deliverables include both the outputs that comprise the product or service of the project, as well as the project management reports and documentation. Project exclusions identify what isn't included from the project, which helps manage stakeholders' expectations. Project constraints list and describe the specific constraints associated with the project scope that limits the team's options. The top three constraints to managing any project are typically time, money, and scope. They are interconnected, meaning that if you change one variable, the others will also change. There are additional project constraints, including risk, resources, organization methods, and more. Project assumptions describe the specific assumptions associated with the project scope and the potential impact of those assumptions if they prove to be false. For example, you will list out something like the development team will be available during this project time period, or the customer support team will receive new product training by the end of September. And finally, project document updates. The documents that may be updated include stakeholder register, requirements documentation, and requirements traceability matrix. And that would be all of the process. Thank you.
Yeah, the next part, I and Thảo My will alternately present this part. So please follow because this part is very important in this lesson. Yeah, Thảo My, please.
Yeah. Hello everyone, my name is Thảo My and this is the interesting part of it when you finish collecting requirements and defining scope. So next process of scope management is to create WBS. WBS stands for Work Breakdown Structure. Because two first processes are a lot of information about theory, so therefore in this section I will try to give you more example to illustrate and help you have a better understanding. So let's see a simple example of work breakdown structure to find out what does it mean. Look at the picture. Let's say your task is to organize and planning an event. So for more specific, you are the event manager. For welcome freshmen are you new student. So there are all things you plan and collect from previous processes. Like you need to decide, a place here can like where you organize the event, like such at IU University or at the hall in area library. And you need to list down all the things you want to do. Or invitation, of course, invitation. Here you invite a new student, a teacher, a member of IU club, or you contact a singer come to the event. Yeah, and for more advertising until the show day. So look at here, it has three main things. First, at the top, planning an event. That is the main thing we want to have, and it is called our project. So the next round is purple boxes. It's the things we need for the project. Sometimes it can be divided by deliverable or phrase. Could step by step in this picture, it's divided by phrase. You finish step by step of it. And the last one is the black box. It gives you more detail on how to perform the work clearly. Yeah, look at the picture. First, on the top is the main thing we call project, and you divide the work in more clearly and list down more things you look at and rank it in smaller tasks and activity. The more descending level, the more detailed information of work is supplied to you. So therefore we can say in easily way, work breakdown structure means breaking work into smaller tasks and activities. So, or in professional way definition, you can look at the slide. Work breakdown structure is a deliverable-oriented hierarchical decomposition of work. Decomposition means you breaking the work into smaller tasks and activity and create requirement deliverable. As I said, deliverable you learn in the last chapter, it can be output, a result, or all the things you need in order to complete our project. And its descending level of work breakdown structure is present an increasingly detailed definition of the project of work, like it gives you more detailed information. So next slide, please. In a world, work breakdown structure is a basic tool in project management, a framework for defining all project of work element and their relationship. Their relationship means which part belonging to which part, like you need to invite student or contact to the singer for event, is belonging to invitation element of the work breakdown structure. And next is collecting and organizing information, developing relevant cost and revenue data, and management activities. Work hour requirement, cost, and time. Remember the last example. So at the bottom of level, it provides you an estimate time, like we need to complete like 3 hours to check and reserve and book in the place we celebrate event, or estimate cost to finish this task for like around 10,000 million Vietnam dong to perform planning to perform the event, or when should we start doing the activity, this month or next month, yeah, or specific day.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So we have a question like this. Why we have to create a work breakdown structure? You can see in this slide we have lots of idea, right? But you can easily like this, understand like this. Work breakdown structure is like a kind of schedule. It's not a schedule, but just very similar to it. And it helps you to your task content become explicit. Firstly, because it is like a schedule, so all the jobs are broken down and you know time, human resources need for that job. Therefore, like in the slide we can assign specific people, performance, responsibility, budgets to the each session. The secondly, work breakdown structure can create scope for each session. The person in charge can monitor the progress and determine where the work is missing or incorrect. Finally, we know related parties such as vendor or subcontract through work breakdown structure. Next slide. Yeah, then how can we create a WBS? There are, you can see in the slide, we have three ways, right? But it actually, we have just two main ways. The first way is using phase, and the second one is using measure deliverables. You can understand like this. Phase is like the name of the step or the activity you use to finish the project. And major deliverable is the result. It's like it can be the product, it can be the service. Yeah, that is major deliverable. And how about sub project? The sub project we will discuss on the later slide. Next slide. Yeah, you can see here. This is a very general work breakdown structure. As you can see, it has include phase like phase one, phase two. It also include deliverable and sub project. Yeah, if you use phase at level 1, then the deliverable must be level 2, and then work package is the level 3. If you use deliverable as level 1, then work package will be level 2. And if you use a project is similar with deliverable. And in conclusion, we can see that work package is the lowest component of work breakdown structure. Next slide. Yeah, and now we have, like I said, we have two types of creating work breakdown structure. That is phase and deliverable. I will present how to create phase by phase, and Thảo My will present deliverables. Next slide. Yeah, in this slide we see work breakdown structure by using phase. We have, like I said, phase is the name of the step or activities. So you can see to create software products, we have some phase like project management, product requirements, detail design, construct and integration and test. All of these phase is the name of the step. So we call this that is it's created by phase. And following this phase, we have some deliverables that is the result. Like the first phase, we have planning, meeting, or administration. So I have a question for you for bonus point. Yeah. Assume that you start a new course like this course and you have the semester projects. So can you tell me which step will you do through the course to finish the project? Can anyone answer this? Yes, I see Dung Đặng raising her hand. So can you turn on your mic and say out loud?
I
Please.
think for this for the project, for example, like project management, we have 4 phases. First is registration. So in this phase, I will go on to meet the lead, Google Form. I choose our topic, select our group members, and register them to the lecturer. And secondly is we do the planning. We need to map out the implementation direction and assign the work scope, or assign the responsibility for every member. Thirdly, is detailed implementation, like it's time for the member to go on and work it out. And last one is checking, like the leader will monitor and do some checking if there's anything wrong with our project. I think so. That's what I think.
Yeah, that is very good answer. Yeah, exactly. Okay, thank you, Dung. Yeah, next slide, please. Okay, so now we talk about create a work breakdown structure with the input. To create work breakdown structure, that is the process of subdividing project deliverables and a project works into smaller, more manageable components. Like in later slide, we will have the technique to create work breakdown structure. And how about the inputs? We have 3 inputs like project scope statement, requirement documentation, and the last one is organizational process assess. Next slide. So how to create? We have a technique that's called decomposition. So to understand this technique, I can explain like this. This composition is mean that we have to break the main project into the small tasks, which need to be finished to have the project, and we break them into the smaller and smaller parts until it's become work package. I have explained the work package before. Yeah, the smaller components. So how can we know those part are work package? So work package will be the very detailed activity and or requirements that we can immediately do with our plan. So we can call it work package. So you just remember that work package is the lowest level of WBS. Okay, and the last idea is decomposition cannot. Yeah, it's not possible. It cannot apply for deliverable or sub project because these two, like deliverable and sub project, they will be accomplished far in the future. The project management team usually waits until the deliverable or sub project is clarified, so the detail of work breakdown structure can be developed. Yeah, so the composition just apply for phase. Okay, next slide. Yeah, this is the very simple example of work breakdown structure using phase. We have to create a book project. We have 4 phases like research, writing, publishing, and project management. And now you can see this 4 phase, that is the step or this is the activity. So we call it phase. And then in the deliverable, you will understand, well, what is the difference between phase and deliverable? Yeah, and in level 3, you will see this is the deliverable. Yeah. Okay, next slide. Okay, to manage a work breakdown structure, we have some notes. I'm sorry. Yeah, so sorry. This part will belong to Thảo. Yeah, please.
Yeah. So let's move to the second structure of work breakdown structure. If the first one, we divide it by phrase, or we call giai đoạn. So here we organize by deliverable, giao phẩm. So as I said, deliverable could be a product, a small project or feature which is created from the project, or we can understand we need to have all of these things in order to complete the project. Look at the level number 2, like with the product here, air vehicle or facility. It is belonging to products. It's not step by step. No, it is the products, small project or feature. So that is the difference between phase and deliverable. So in the phase, we learn the input. So in this deliverable, it has the same input as phase. So let's find out what tool and technique do we need when using this way of organization. So here you can take a look in this slide. This is all thing we need in the decomposition. So I will go tell by one and back to the example to clarify it. Yeah. So first, back to the example, identifying and analyzing the deliverable and related work. Yeah, you need to clarify which one belongs to which one. Like in order to complete the air rack system, we need the equipment training. Look at the picture. Equipment training, you need to determine it belonging to training section or operational test. It belonging to test and evaluation. Yeah, need to divide which one belonging to which one. And next is structuring and organizing the work breakdown structure. You need to put it in order from general to specific from their level, like arrange all elements from the top to the bottom with increasing detail way. Yeah, so next slide. Next slide, please. In the output of work breakdown structure is concluded scope baseline, and scope baseline included project scope statement, work breakdown structure, and work breakdown structure dictionary. Yeah, we already know scope, project scope statement, work breakdown structure. So what is work breakdown structure dictionary? So look at the picture in the slide. You can see it have, look at the column, it has a level, a code, the name, and one more important thing is description. Like when you look at a dictionary, you look up like you look at the name matching with description. Thanks to description, it gives you more information about it. Give you more information about the task or activity you need to complete. So this is help you to answer the question when you look at a complicated work breakdown structure, because work breakdown structure is just a short name and you need to look at dictionary and find out what do we need, what task, what is a specific activity you need to complete. So this can solve this problem by using subtitle, number on the graphic in work breakdown structure and providing more detail of elements. And when stockholder read the detailed description in the work breakdown structure dictionary, they get a much better understanding of scope the work because of their context within of the hierarchy of elements. So next slide. Yeah, here is work breakdown structure, and you remember the two first column is the level and the code name. So I will tell you the level and the code name in this slide. First, the work breakdown structure divided into many levels. Always remember the first level in the boxes. Yeah, is the level 1, and when you divide it, it will increase the level 2, level 3, and level 4. If you divide it more, it could be level 5 or level 6, and so on. So about the name, at the level 1, remember at our project, the main things always, the name is number 1. We will use the number to create a name for them. Number 1, and follow into the range. Yeah, and in the level 2, you can count from the left to the right. What is the first element in the level 1? Up level 2, the first or the second or the third, and it's belonging to range number 1. So it's 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3. If you divide more and create a name, just keep following the range for level 3. 2 boxes. First box is 1.1.1. And next box is the second element is 1.1.2. If you follow this rule, I think you can do it in the rest of the boxes. Yeah, just follow this rule and count. So what is the meaning of the level? We can move to the next slide. This is typical of 6 level of project work breakdown structure. You can look up at it. Level 1 is, as I said, always a project. Here, yeah, project, and level 2, it could be a deliverable or phase, and so on. Just look here and find out what is mean of the level. So, and remember, the more you divide in the work breakdown structure, the more number is will agree with the detailed information. Next slide. So, in conclusion, the benefit of work breakdown structure dictionary is to ensure that we do the work right at the first time by providing the team with information they need to reduce quality deliverable that meets project requirement and organization standard. Or you can remember two main keywords. First is how much detailed information, and the second, it gives you better understanding of what they must perform. So let's write it a little bit assign a code. I will do example for you first, and next is your change. First, I do equipment. Do you see the equipment on the screen? So I will tell you two things. First is the level. Second is the code name. You can look at the yellow. Yellow is the top, so it's level 1. And when you divide it, the number of level is will increase. Green is level 2. The blue is level 3. So in equipment, it's a level number 3. And now is the code name. Equipment belong into training. Training belong into a rack system. A rack system is number 1. Yeah, a rack system is number 1. Therefore, training is 1.2. And when you divide it into equipment, therefore equipment is 1.2.1. Yeah, and I hope you can understand it. And now your turn. Can you tell me the level and the code name of navigation? Do you see navigation, the orange one? Who can volunteer?
Can I answer?
Yes, please. Can you tell me two questions? What is the level it belong and what is the code name?
I think the level of navigation is level 4.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
And the code name is the 1.1.2.2.
Can you give me the explanation why 1.1.2.2?
Yes, because navigation belongs to the avionics.
Yeah.
Yes, and so avionics
Yeah.
belong to air vehicle.
Yes.
And the air vehicle belong to the main project air system.
Yeah, that's
So,
right. Yeah. Yeah, just follow which one belong into which one and determine the level. So thank you, Tuấn Huy. And so I hope this will be useful for you to do in the homework of this week and maybe a future project. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, now we now we move to the note. I think you should focus on this because it is really a real application. We have 3 rules to why we do work breakdown structure. The first rule is called 100% rules. In this rule, we can understand like this. Work breakdown structure represent all products and project work, including project management work. The total work on the lowest level will roll up to the higher level, so nothing is missed and no redundant work is done. This is sometimes called 100% rules. Okay, and the second one is mutually exclusive. Mutually exclusive means that 2 elements of a work breakdown structure cannot happen at the same time. I mean, it must be step by step. And the last rule is very interesting. The last rule is 80 hours, or the original name of it is 8 to 80 rule. This rule say that the work package must finish within 8 hours a day. Work package must be in 1 day, and the task more and the project must be finished no more than 80 hours. So I also have a question for this rule. Can you tell me why we need the 80-hour rules, or can you explain what is this rule claim about? Yeah, I think it's quite difficult, but can anyone answer this question? Yeah. Yes, thank you. Dung Đặng again, please.
I just guess like you got the 8, which means is a minimum hours, which mean you don't need to follow everything, like don't need to strict monitor to that project. And 80 hours is a very long time, is the maximum hours. So you need to break it down so that you can monitor the project easier. So this may be what I think. This may be wrong.
Yeah, it's actually the perfect answer. Yes, I can explain again. 80-hour rule is mean that you don't need to spend time, you don't need to spend your effort to keep track of tasks less than 8 hours a day. And the tasks more than 80 hours need to be broken down because it's too long. You can break it to the sub-projects. Yeah, that is the meaning of this rule. Okay, so next slide. So we have studied a course that is economic engineering, right? And in that course, we have studied about we determine the alternative, which one is the best one. So we will determine based on the cash flow. We have three main steps. The first step is describing project in work breakdown structure, the very general phase. The next one is describe feasible alternative using project work breakdown structure. During these two steps, we need to define, the first one is cash flow perspective. We also need to estimating baseline and study period. Yeah, very familiar, right? Okay, and we also need to delineate cost and revenue categories and elements. When and the next step is develop cash flow for alternative. And during the step 2 and step 3, we need to determine work breakdown structure level for estimating and also estimating technique. Yeah, and we also need to have cost and revenue database. And when we move to the last step, that is the last alternative, we need to consider again the step 2. If it's yes, well, we will stop, but no, we will need to consider again. Okay, next slide. Yeah, you can see in this chart is very associated with the dictionary work breakdown structure dictionary. We can see that with the very low level, like level 3, 4, or 5, that is the detail estimated. You can see the detail estimated, the accuracy is very low, right? So the cost estimate will be high. But when it moves to the level 1 or 2, the accuracy will be more exactly, it will be higher. So the estimated about cost, it will be smaller. Yeah, that is how we determine about accuracy of the cost. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, and the last slide is also one example of work breakdown structure. Yeah, you can take a look for a minute. Yeah, and I think that is also the end of the three main parts. And the last part is an extra part. I think you also listen to this part because you can apply it into Excel. Yeah. The last part will belong to Nguyễn Phan Hoàng Minh. Yeah, please.
Okay. Hello everyone. My name is Min, and I'm going to give you the overall view of the next two extra sections. First is verify scope. Verify scope is the process of formalizing acceptance of the completed project deliverables. The activities included are review deliverables and obtain the formal acceptance of deliverables by the customer or sponsor. Verify scope main objective is to obtain the approval of the deliverables. It is performed after or parallel with quality control. Next slide, please. As for the input, verify scope contains 4 inputs. The first is project management plan. The main concern is scope baseline and its components. Second is requirement documentation, which includes all the project, product, technical, and other types of requirement, along with acceptance criteria. The third is requirement traceability matrix. Fourth is validated deliverables which are completed and checked for correctness by the perform quality control process. Next slide. As for the tool that is used for this process is inspection. Inspection include activities such as measuring, examining, and verifying to determine whether work and deliverable meet requirements and product acceptance criteria. There are next slide, please. There are three outputs to verify scope. The first output concerns accepted deliverable. Accepted deliverable are formally signed off and approved. Formal documentation of deliverables approval is forwarded to close project or phase process. Second is change request. Change request is documentation of unaccepted deliverable with the reason for non-acceptance. They may require a change request for defect, repair, or unaccepted deliverables. It is processed for review and disposition through the performance integrated change control process. The last is project document update. It may be updated as a result of verified scope. It also includes documents defining the product or report status on product completion. Next slide. As you can see in the slide, it is one of the usual sign-off form that the stakeholder or sponsor receive. Let's take our A3 building project as an example. The deliverables include design drawings, proposals, project status reports, building permits, and finally the A3 building itself. If all the criteria are met, then the school board of trustees will sign their signature into the form as an approval of the project completion. Next slide. Next is the control scope. Control scope is the process of monitoring the status of project and product scope and managing changes to the scope baseline. Its main objective are to process requested changes and recommended corrective or preventive action, and also manage occurring changes. This process is integrated with other control process. Next slide. There are 5 inputs in total. The first is project management plan, which differs from that of a verified scope. It contains wider aspects that are used to control scope. For instance, scope baseline, scope management plan, change management plan, configuration management plan, and requirement management plan. Next are requirement documentation and requirement traceability matrix, which have already been explained in previous sections. The fourth one is work performance information. It contains information about project progress, such as status of deliverable, and they are start, finish, or ongoing. The last is organizational process assets. Its influence may include, but are not limited to, formal and informal scope control related policy, procedure, and guidelines. Monitoring and reporting methods to be used. As for the tool that is used for this process is variance analysis. This technique assesses the magnitude of variation from the original scope baseline. It also determines the cost and degree of variance relative to the scope baseline, and help to decide if corrective or preventive action is required. Next. There are 5 outputs to be expected. The first is work performance measurement. It includes plan and actual scope performance measurement. These measurements are documented and communicated to stakeholders. The second is organizational process assets update. It may include, but are not limited to, cost of variance, decision and reason for corrective action, and lessons learned. The third is change request. The fourth one is project management plan update, which have 2 activities. In scope baseline update, scope statement WBS and WBS dictionary are revised and reissued to reflect the approved changes. As for the other baseline update, corresponding cost baseline and schedule baseline are revised and reissued to reflect the approved changes. The last is project document update. May be updated include, but are not limited to, requirements documentation, requirement traceability matrix. And that is the end of the 2 extra process. Moving on to the next activity, which is creating WBS. Since the main focus of this chapter is WBS, our group will give you a demonstration on how to create WBS using Excel. To create a work breakdown structure using Excel, we can utilize one of Excel tool, that is the Smart Art Graphic. Our group will guide you through the whole process step by step. Step 1. Upon opening Excel, we click the Insert tab and navigate to the Illustration section. Then select Smart Art Graphic. A dialog box having different Smart Art Graphic category will appear, and you can choose a suitable shape of your WBS. Step 2. Our group will choose the Hierarchy section as an example. At the Hierarchy section, select a Smart Art Graphic to construct your WBS. After selecting, click the OK button, and you can see the Hierarchy Smart Art Graphic revamped on the Excel sheet. Step 3. To edit your WBS, we use the text pane window to the left of the Smart Art Graphic. Each dot in the text pane represents a box or set in your WBS. You can type in the content using text pane or type directly into the boxes. To create a new set of the same level, select the dot in the desired level, then press the Enter button. To create a subset, select the dot below the set you want to have subset, then press the Tab button. To create another subset, we press Enter while choosing the subset dot. To decrease the level of the box, choose the dot you want to decrease, then press the Backspace button. You can choose the color using the change colors in the toolbar. And that is the end of my part. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, that is also the end of our presentation. Thank you for your listening. Now, before we move to the mini game for extra point, I will let Mr. Lee to give his comment and idea.
Thank you very much. Oh, sorry. Not enough. Okay, let's see. Okay. Okay. Your group is so well. Thank you very much. Okay, from the very detail and about WBS. The scope. Actually, you also cover such thing as use Excel templates. Nowadays, very easy. Okay, you manage software, even from Excel, Office, because it's a structure, hierarchies process. So it's quite logics to prevent repeat. But the principle, I just talk very short. Okay, how to create it? Okay, how to create it? Okay, many ways. Okay, but the most important is involvement of key person. Okay, get lots involved. Okay, just got involved. Very good. You can do it manually, automatically, and you add some tasks. The principle is the hierarchy. The second, how many levels? The tool you can use. Okay, put it here, move it there. Always there in WBS, we planning. Okay, remember, always there planning. Okay, planning. For example, here. Okay, you can see always there. planning, and very familiar with you again and again. Your study in our university is one of the biggest project in your life. Okay. So the next, how many level, the principle, the rules to be applied. Your roof present so well. Okay. All member in group 4, I record it here from Tuyến, Phương Lam, Quang means, Ngọc means, oh, Kim Ngọc, excellent. And your group, there are 5 min. Okay. There are 5 minutes in your group. So I have to follow very detailed. Okay. With very good, especially Thảo My. Okay. Your presentation skill is wonderful. Okay. With the moderator from another means, I think you did a great job and hope this way to handle, to conduct the project in your team is very useful. You see scope of work, now WBS, many deliverable WBS. From that, we can use in many things else. Many things else, use WBS, work breakdown structure, work breakdown structure, organization breakdown structure, okay, to create such kind of thing. Okay, so you organize, move, define, and remember to have approval. Okay, so divide into manageable piece of task. Okay. Activity, and remember the bottom line is work packages. And you see in US they used to say activity tasks versus in US they say item, product, deliverable. Okay, so because of management style. Okay. Very good. So now I think group 4 should continue for the game with the involvement. Involvement, I underline again. In the WPS, in the project, in your life, involvement of relevant people. So in our class, group member, another student get involved. Thank you very much. Now your turn again, group 4.
Yes, thank you so much for your comments. Okay, and now we'll move to mini games. Okay, I will show you the rules. Okay, at the beginning, I have give you the QR code for the scorecard. Yeah, so now I will explain the rules of the game. Okay, the Vietnamese rule will be in the chat box.
Okay, so I think we are ready to start the game. So group 1, are you ready? The project scope includes
Yes, group 1, you will need one presenter to answer this question, and you also have 15 seconds. Yeah, group 1, please.
Wow.
If group 1 there is no.
Okay.
And
Group 1 is, yes, I think the project scope includes what is the project about and what is included. A. I think the answer is A.
So your answer is A, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try it. So sorry, but A is not yet the correct answer. So any
So
other?
another group. Yeah, I see Hạnh Nguyen is raising hand. Yeah, please say out loud your answer.
Well, I think the answer is D because it's not only about what is include, but about what is not include. So D.
Okay,
Yes,
so
thank
now
you.
let's try D, right? Perfect. Let's move on to the next one. Group 2. So what does WBS stand for? Um, 5 more seconds.
Yes, group 2, it's your time to answer this question.
Can you turn on your microphone?
Hi, I'm Khánh Linh. I will answer this in.
Yes, please.
So my answer is B. Work breakdown structure.
Okay. Right, that's good. Right, let's move on. Now, group 3. So which components should mostly WBS plans contain? So anyone from group 3?
Yes, group 3, it's your turn to answer this question. Yeah,
Our
if
answer is C.
Okay, so let's see. Right, that's good. So mostly WS plans contain the organization to individual specified work responsibility. Okay, and now it's turn for group 5. So Ms. Ngọc is the project manager for the biotech company, and you are working with the challenging clients who likes to add requirements throughout the execution of the projects. So previous projects have been late and over budget due to the dynamic nature of client requirements. Scope creep is a real issue to these clients. So which of the following documents would prevent scope creep on the work packages? I would like to add some hints here. So scope creep in the project management refers to the changes, continuous and uncontrolled growth in the project scope at any point after the project begins. So group 5.
group 5E choose D is the correct answer. Is the final
That would
answer.
be WBS dictionary. Okay.
Yes.
Now let's see. Okay, great. Next one. I will invite group 6 for these questions. There are 5 steps involved when defining projects. So which of the following is the first one? Group 6.
Yeah, if no one in group 6 answer this question, so this is chance for another group. Yes, Thông Nguyễn, right? Yes, please say out loud.
Yes, I choose B. Define the project scope.
Okay, so let's see. Okay, so that's good. So please help me write a bonus point for our friend. Okay. Now, next one. Group 7. This is your questions. In reviewing the project plan, Ms. Kwai sees that the first prototype must be completed by October 12th. So this would be the best classified as a group 7. Anyone there?
Yeah, can anyone in group 7 can answer this question? Yeah, so if there is no one, so the chance for another groups. Yes, I see Hạnh Nguyễn is the first one raise hand. Okay, please, Hạnh Nguyễn.
Well, I think the answer is D, project objective.
So your answer is D, right? Okay. Thank you very much. So this would be best classified as a project objective. Now, next one. Creates the work breakdown structures provides a foundation for the project to later develop responsibility assignments metrics, RAM, and to allocate resources. So which of the following statements is about WS is fonts? Remember, it's fonts. So please turn your mic to answer these questions. Group 8.
I think that it is B.
Yes, so B is not the correct one. It used to be the project schedule's fonts. Okay, you make a good one. Now, next one, group 9. So you have just completed the design phase of the project and are meeting with the customer to ensure that the project requirements are reflected in the deliverables. So which tool or technique are you performing? Now focus on to ensure that the project requirements are reflected in the deliverables. Members from group 9?
Yeah, so if no one in group 9 can answer, then this is our chance. Yes, I see Trinh Nguyễn is the first one raise hand. So Trinh Nguyễn, please. Yeah, Trinh Nguyễn. Yeah, please say out loud. Hello, Trinh. Can you hear me? Yeah, you can answer this question.
Hello. My answer is B.
Inspection. Yes, that's right. So this question is describing the validate scope process, right? Inspections. That's good. A bonus for her. Now, next one. We'll turn back to group one. Which of the following best describe the process of controlling and tracking changes to the project's deliverables? Group one. Controlling and tracking changes to the project's deliverables. MC, can you help me?
Yes. So no one in group one can answer. Then our group chance. Okay, Cẩm Nhung, please.
I guess it is C.
Configuration management plan. Okay. Let's see. That's good. Okay, next one. Group two. Please, you ready? So this is the questions. Which of the following is not the inputs to define the scope process? Not the inputs to define the scope process.
Hi, my name is Yohan. I'm from group 2. Can I answer this one,
Yes.
please?
So your answer is?
So I would choose B.
B, okay.
Because organizational process access and the CET are the input to define scope process and only work breakdown structure in other one.
Yes, okay. That's good. Now, let's move on. Group 3. Which actions involves reviewing the project charter, requirements documents, and organizational process assets to create a scope statement, adding more information as the requirements are developed and change requests are improved?
Yes, group 3, please.
So which actions or step involves reviewing the project charter, requirements, documents, and organizational process assets?
Yeah, group 3.
Creating, defining, controlling, or validating?
Our answer is B.
B, defining scope. Okay. Yes, you made a good one. Okay, next one. Group 5. Now, which document should list and describe all the deliverables required for the projects? List and describe all deliverables required for the projects.
My group answer is B.
B, so you choose a scope statement?
Yes.
Okay. That's good. This step is very important to ensure the consistency, right, between the project charter, scope statement, WBS, and the Gantt chart to define the scope of the project accurately. Okay, next one. Group 6. Now, what information in the process of defining scope should be analyzed for the completeness? The priority is for group 6. So please make use of it.
Yeah, group 6. Can anyone? Yeah, so if there's no one, so I will invite Haichen, the first one, raise hand.
I'm from group 1. Our group chose B, assumptions and constraint.
Okay, now let's see. You make a great move. So on charges are actually right while they are summarized as assumptions and constraints. Okay. Now, group 7. What is the scope? What is the project scope management? This is the concept questions.
Hello.
Yes.
I'm from group 7 and my answer is C.
C. Okay. A set of processes to ensure the successful completion of all required work on the projects. Okay. Right. Perfect. Now, next one. Group 8. Which document to be used as a reference to identify if stakeholders' requirements are in the balance with the project objectives? So this is related to the stakeholder requirements and the project objectives. So which documents? May I hear the answer from group 8?
Yes, I can see Hai Nguyen and Haichen have so many bonus points, so I will choose another one. Yeah, I
Hello,
will
I'm
invite.
from group 8.
Yes,
Group
please.
8. Yes, and I think that is B.
B, the initial project and product requirements. B or D, please. B or D.
B.
B, okay. Sorry, but it's not yet correct.
So another group, please. Yeah, I will invite Nhật Trường, right?
Yeah, I'm from group 1 and I choose D.
D, the
yeah.
project charter. Yes. Thank you. Don't worry, group 8, you have many chances at the back, okay? Now, next one, group 9. Examples of organizational process access can influence the defined scope process include, but not limited to, all of the below excepts. Remember, except. Today is not included.
Yeah, group 9, please. Is there anyone? Yeah, so another people. Quỳnh Lê, please.
I think D.
You choose D.
Yes.
Okay, that's good. So detailed descriptions of the projects, deliverables, and the work required to create those deliverables. Now, next one. This is the third round. Which are the available sources that expertise is provided by any group or individual with specialized knowledge, training, expert judgment?
Yes, I'm from group one, and I think the answer is
Yes.
D.
So it means that we have other units within the organization, consultants, stakeholders, including customer sponsors, right? Okay, perfect. Now, next one. Group two. The plank, okay, is a document prepared for the customer during the project initiation and planning that describe what the project will deliver and the outlines generally at the high level on what required to complete the project. So please select the correct phrases to fill in the blank above. Some document prepared for customer during the project initiation and planning.
Hi, I'm from group 2. Can I answer this one?
Yes, please go ahead.
I think the answer is B, project scope statement.
Project scope statement. Let's see. Okay, it's good. Now, next one. Group 3. Our project team has completed collecting requirements. So what should be the next step? So sorry, this answer is not related to the question. So I will read the answer here. So A, define activity, B, define the scope, and C, define the resources requirements and the project schedule. D, create work breakdown structures and the work breakdown structure dictionary. So after collecting requirements,
Our answer is define scope.
Define scope B. Okay, thank you. Okay, questions 20 for group 5. What does a work breakdown structures WBS breakdown?
My group answer is A.
A. Project deliverables are broken into tasks and activities. Okay, that's good. Now let's move on. Okay, so application questions. So can you see the picture clearly? Group 6. What is the process name of WBS with the code 1.2.3? So for code 1.2.3, so what is this connected to the process name?
I think the answer is B.
The sets budget. May I know your name and yes?
I'm from group 6.
Okay, that's great. set budget. So you can see from here 1.2, 0.3, right? Okay, next one. The same picture, and now what is the WBS code for the process assess feasibility? Feasibility is from here. Group 7.
My group answer is D.
D. 1.1.4. Okay, that's right. Now, next one. Which of the following cannot be tracked using WBS? Group 8, please. Cannot be.
I'm from group
Yes.
8. My answer is C.
So your answer is C.
Yes.
The quality. Okay, that's good. So in the slide of definition, why using WBS, you can see this one. So we can track the time, the cost, and the work hours required. We cannot track the quality. Now, group 9, and also the last chance for group 9. Which of the following provides a basis for defining activities as well as estimating resource, time, and cost? A basis. A basis or a smallest, the lowest level. And anyone from group 9?
Hello, I'm from group 9. Can I answer?
Yes, for sure.
I think it's D.
D, the word packages. Okay. That's right. So next we'll come to the like the battle. Okay, you have to raise your hands in order to take the priority to answer the questions and bring the bonus point to your group. So which factor does this WBS based on?
Yeah, I see Quinlay is very quickly. Yeah, Quinlay is the first one, so please answer it.
I choose A.
The phase?
Yes.
Okay. That's good. '26. Which of the following is true about verified scope process? I know this is an extra part, but it's quite important. True about.
Yes, Trinh Nguyễn, right? Yeah, Trinh Nguyễn, please.
I think the answer is D.
D.
Yes.
So it is the process of formalizing acceptance of the completed project deliverables. Okay, let's see. That's right. Okay, next one. Now, the verified scope process can occur at the end of the project or at the end of the project phase. So what is used to validate the scope of the deliverables? To validate.
Yes, Phương Anh Lương.
Yes, I'm from group 1 and my answer is D.
Okay, group 1 with answer D, inspection. That's right. Question 29. When performing the scope control process, which of the following statement is correct? Scope control process.
Yeah, Châu Võ, please.
Group 1, my answer is D.
D, okay. The scope control is performed in concert with other control processes. Okay. Yes. So the scope control is integrated with other control processes in our knowledge area. 29. The product you have delivered have been reviewed carefully against the scope and is now being brought to the customer for formal acceptance. Which process is the project in?
Yeah,
Review
Jing
carefully.
Nguyen is the first one. Yeah, Jing.
Okay.
My answer is A.
A, to validate scope. And you're from group 6, right?
7.
7. Yes. Okay, next one. 30. A team member makes a change to a software project without letting anyone else know. She assures you that it did not affect the schedule and it significantly enhances the product. So what should the project manager do first?
Yeah, Dung Đăng, please.
Application questions.
I think the answer is C. Review the chain to understand how it affects scope and customer satisfactions and so on.
Yeah, actually C is correct, but it's in the wrong order.
Okay.
So sorry. Okay. Yeah, C is correct one. Review the change to understand how it affects the scope, time, quality, risk, and the customer satisfaction. Yes, that should the project manager do first. When actually you shouldn't believe in her confirm, right? Now 31. The project manager and the customer on the project are meeting together to review the products of the project against the documented scope. So which tool would most be appropriate to use during this meeting? The tool. Review the products of the project against the documented scope.
Yeah, Jing Nguyen is still the first one, so
Okay.
please.
Yes.
Group 7 and answer is B.
B. Okay. Inspection. Now, last one, last chance. What is the function of the project sponsor? Suppose that you are the project sponsor. So what is your function?
Yeah, Công Sơn Nguyễn.
Yes, please.
My answer is D. C.
C.
My answer is
To
C.
fund the project.
Yes.
And formally accept the product. Okay, let's see. That's good. So actually, this question is the end of our game today. Right? I hope you get the bonus and valuable knowledge to easy to a bit more challenging questions that we have prepared for you. And there are some technical mistakes, so I hope you can. Okay, so thank you for joining today. So our team, our team will let you know the top 3 groups of our today's lesson, and we report it to Mr. Lee to get you the bonus. And thank you for joining us today.
Okay. So exciting, huh? Okay. Again, any questions? Huh? Any questions? Okay. Group 4, you present so well and you have exciting games at the end to review the scope of our lecture today. Do you have any questions? Nguyễn Anh Tuấn, I see you raise your hand. Okay. know. See, I tell you a story. During our life, we have many projects. Okay, and I myself, after graduating 25 years ago, okay, I have a big project to build a factory in Procter and Gamble, and we learn a lot. Learn how to carry out a project in terms of project engineer, and learns how to manage a project. You know, during that time in the university, we teach of something. For example, management for engineer. Okay, quản lý cho kỹ sư. Okay, in our university at that time, but after the university, I study project a lot. Also, we work and we study, and in Procter and Gamble, they have very good training program. It takes 1 month to learn project management. Actually, several weeks at the first half, and we know who is who and the way to carry out something. Such as WBS. WBS a wonderful tool, and we try to figure out many approaches for the WBS to create a WBS. Okay, so let's see, and remember, we have a dictionary also, huh? So try to get a lies, not misunderstanding. Okay, we have a WBS dictionaries in detail. Okay, so they know clearly, and also code. Code, not coding, huh? Code. Everything they have code. WBS they have code. WBS dictionary they have code. Remember, numbering is very important. Okay, so numbering, student, everything we need to present is in the number. It's very easy for management. Because digital line, now almost the tasks they say by the number. Try to make clear. All people, all department talk about SAM. Okay, the SAM meaning. Okay, contractor, supplier, and your people. Hello. First, I underline some key important only. Okay. First, what else? Okay, I hear some very strange noise. Okay, let me see. Okay. Okay. The next, you see the way to carry out some way in order to collect the requirement. Normally, we have a workshop. Okay. Okay. Something. You can also interview your member. Another, besides your team member, you can also interview. Okay, some focus group. For example, if you want to do something, you can join the forum of such group. Okay. Okay. For example, you have a group of people, okay, who will be attending IL class, for example. Okay, you have a group and you ask, you can communicate. Okay. This technique. Many people think differently. Okay, and you gather much idea, many idea, but this is very good to collect many information. But after that, you have to rearrange your files technique. Okay, is such kind of thing. You can see it in your production management in terms of forecast. But here they use the file techniques also. The next group decision making technique. Okay. So, for example, you have a conference, a meeting, okay, to decide, okay, to select a location, for example, your project. How does it look like for your project? Let's see. Let's see. Example. For example, you want to start up, or you want to build a factory, or you want to provide a service. You need a project, okay, to serve, okay, to produce. So you gather all people involved in something, and you do the assessment. Okay, you review several alternatives. Okay, you foresee some outcome. Okay, predict. Okay, so you take action for further resolution. Okay, this is have advantage, but some take time. Okay, a questionnaire survey. This one, engineer. Normally you have this one, many things. So just a moment. Prototype. Many level of prototype, alpha, beta, etc. Okay. So prototype. I know you all go through introduction to IE or logistics, right? Okay. Intro to IE log, right? You see the model. You have model, right? Right? It looks like a prototype. Okay. So in the project the same. Okay. You have such model. So here. So people see it. Can it work? Any modification regarding some feature, some function, appearance, etc. Okay. Some take time, some costly, but prototype, many kind of prototype. For sure, before they launch a product, they have many prototypes. For the project, the same. The question now is, any of you, the example. What is that? Okay. Example. Okay. Now, example of prototype, please. Smaller. Okay. 7 and 7 again. What is that? Prototype. Okay. Starting with prototype. So the question is, can any of you give us an example of prototype in the real life project? Whatever project it is. Can I say already? And now I didn't see it. Yeah.
Hi, Mr. Lee.
Yeah.
Yes, for the prototype, we can take the example of building the bridge, as our team has presented. So it's like we build a sample bridge, a smaller, like we have a ratio like 1 divide 100,000 or something. To make sure that our customer know that how it looks like, the design, the material, the look of it, the appearance, and so on.
Yeah. So good. Min. Yes. Is there any another example? Thank you, Min. Chat me your student ID. Okay. Hello. So, any another example? Huh?
I think
yes.
I think another example is that before building a house, the architectures like they draw the diagram, the design, then they build a mini versions by cartoon or something like that to build a mini house before actually building the actual size. So the mini version is the prototype.
Yeah. And another wonderful answer. Yes, it's true. Prototype. Lincoln, just wait a moment and please chat with me your student ID. Thank you. You see, in apartments nowadays, they say, we have standard sample. Okay, we have a sample. Some room, some house, view, facility inside, etc. Okay, so the prototype. Henlin, your turn, please.
Yes, I want to give an example. Like if we want to, let's say, build a new model of bicycle, and we can draw it in the 3D software.
Yeah.
Is it a way of prototyping, or is it have to be in physical model? Like because it's so complex. let's say it's so complex and expensive and we don't have much time, so we want to construct a model on the software first. Like the 3D model, you can go and observe it and 360-degree, or in a CAD, AutoCAD.
Yes. Yeah, computer edit design.
Yeah.
Yes. Why not?
Yes.
I told you the
So-
purpose of the prototype to show some picture. Okay. And go on, Kenlin. Yes.
Yeah, I want to ask you, is it okay if, is it called a prototype if we just draw it on the computer?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's why I
Yeah.
told you many kind of prototype. Alpha, beta, gamma, etc. Okay.
Yeah, and simulation on a
Yes. I'm going to talk
Yeah.
about that.
Yes. Okay,
You
thank
know,
you.
nowadays, the world difference. It changed so fast because first, our technology enable us. Okay, you know, virtual reality. You know, virtual reality. Thực tế ảo á. Okay, and reinforce. Okay, virtual reality. So, return the bottom line. Relevant people see it, accept it, comment on it. You have a prototype in the computer, 3D, 2D, etc. Okay? And you see, COVID happened. What? You cannot bring the prototype from this place to another place physically. You can show it in the computer. You can send the model, okay, in the computer, right? So why not? But we tell until some function, you know, product they have a function, okay? How work prototype? A lot of things. Simulation to enable the prototype. Yeah, can to validate. You know, V and V in WBS. You see, inspection. This group talk about the inspection. Actually, everything engineer do, they need to validate. If some of you attend the simulation class already, you know V and V. Verify and validate. So you have a WPS. Okay? And after that, you need to know include all or no. Exclude not in the requirement list. Very important. Yes. Okay. Second, validate it. It work or not. We need also to validate. WBS, will it work? Because, you know, from WBS, we develop many things else. Risks, okay, costs, okay, many things. So that's why it's so important for us in search of WBS. Now, with that, I would like to go to another slide, maybe last slide. Here, the rule. Can anyone tell me? The rule here. what is, I know group 4 already knows about this one, but again, it means it includes 100% of the scope. Okay, so you remember side of concerns, the WBS sent with the project chapter. Okay, okay. So if something else out of the, we call it the boundary. Okay, okay. They call boundary. Out of the boundary, say no. Okay, very important. Okay, but because in the project, owner want more, customer as contractor want less. Okay, no, but it define the boundary 100%. Okay, and another technique is that no overlap of the scope definition. Okay, for example, you say we have 2 generators. Capacity of 1 generator is added for this warehouse in case the power is off. So you define it like it. No, another explanation. Yes. Okay. And another the rules here. The rule here. Why 80 hours? Okay. Why 80 hours? I know in group 4 they talk about what 8 hours per day. But why 80 hours? Okay. Anyone can tell us why? Yes.
I think the 80-hour is to limit the work package to no more than 4 days, because that would be long enough so the work package is meaningful, but it is not too long to be overly complex, because if it's overly complex, then the level of uncertainty increase as the project advance into the future, and we don't want that much uncertainty.
You know, the longer the time, the more uncertainty. You are correct. Thank you. Okay. The next question is how short and how long? You saw not long enough. Why? What is the baseline for such number? Okay. By the way, who want to answer? You can link. That is great. Okay. You talk about to avoid uncertainty, right? So the time frame should be not so fast, so long, but not so short, so too detailed. Okay, too detailed is not so bad, but in such case, our WPS must go for further and look a lot of things. Okay, so no activity, study activity should be longer than single reporting time. What is the single reporting time? Weekly? Why? It weekly report, normally in project, normal time, okay, not in a big time. So I have pending to answer here. Next week, handling. Hello.
Yes.
Yes. Next week you also And another student also can answer this one. Okay. Why 80 hour? Okay. You talk
Yes.
about uncertainty. Yes. I agree. But you know, theory is like that. And we combine with the practice. So we have such minimum number. Okay. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. You have a answer. Student in the class also next week find out more reasons. Yes. V. Yeah. Next week. You can also answer. Okay. Why this one? This is so interesting because we combine from the theory to the practical. Okay. Why 80 hours? So is it the way we balance? Okay. Can I add here 100? Huh? Why not? Can I add here 40? Huh? Okay. So the second single reporting period. Okay. How much detail we should go? Okay. Not so much detail, but not aside. Okay. So today we know so much about WBS in detail. We know because of its benefits. When I carry a project, I draw the WBS many times. Okay, I revise, negotiate with all the contractor consortium. Okay, so it's techniques helpful, and because of the WBS outcome, we will develop more and more. Okay, so with that, I would like to thank look for today all students. Hạnh, Quang Minh, Khánh Linh, for your proactive involvement. Okay. Is there any other questions? Otherwise, we might stop here and wish you all the best. Okay. Hello. We.
Hello, sir.
Yes.
I'm Thúy and I'm from group 5. I also post the question in the chat box. That
I see.
there are some slides in the chapter 5. But I see that you hide that slide, so do we need to present that too?
Why not? Okay. It's
Yes,
option. It's an option. If you have enough time, go ahead. Another. Okay. Because I want to share everything. Okay.
Yes.
This graph, this slide, I work a lot of time with that because you know project management for different class, different approach. Okay. So just view and see it work. It's helpful. You present it. You know this slide for master degree, for BT, for BA also. Okay. So different group of students, different situation, we use different. Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, with that, may we say goodbye now. If you didn't have lunch, go for lunch. Okay. Thank you. See you next week. Okay. Next week is very important. Practical parts. management, CPM, and chap. Okay. Thank you. Look for, please send me the record today, so I update their performance. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Me. Yeah. I also record here. But